Welcome, everyone. TD should also have the ability to admit people, so I think
Woo!
we should be good for right now. We'll keep an eye on that together. Welcome, everyone. We are live to Facebook as well. This is our Cauldron Keepers community discussion, panel discussion, and we have a specific topic today. Our specific topic is ethics, responsibility, and community in modern witchcraft. Our focus today will be exploring our personal ethics in magical practice, the responsibilities that come with magic, that arrive with working with energy and practice, and how practitioners, all of us here, engage with broader communities. So we'll be moving through a few key points today. Um, I kind of put it out to everyone that I would love to open up community space today and sacred space today by calling upon the directions. And so I am going to screen share. Hello, if you're just joining. And then after we call upon the directions, I'm going to turn it over to Jeannie. And the panel here for maybe each one of us can take a moment to introduce ourselves, tell a little bit about ourselves, and then we'll move into our discussion. So I would love to screen share with us so that we all have the ability to move through the directions together.
I'm just going to jump in here
Hello, if you're just joining,
because,
Kiki's coming in. Hello.
hi
And you can
everyone.
all hear me okay?
Can you guys hear me too?
Okay, cool. You're all on
All
my
right.
side over here. Okay, go ahead, Jeannie.
Um, Before we dive in, I just want to preface this because this is how I call in sacred space.
Hmm.
And I start in the South, and most people do not start in the South. One of the reasons that I start in the South has to do with a particular lineage and training that I took in Peru with Peruvian medicine women and men. And they start in the South with the serpent. So
Mhm.
this is for some folks, this is going to be like, whoa, why are we starting here? What's going on? This isn't right. This isn't how we do it. Okay, so I just wanted to be very, very clear that I wrote this up. It is a combination of a few different threads that I personally practice and follow. You can call in corners and directions in whatever ways you love to call in. That gets to be part of your active choice. Certainly when it comes to Cauldron Keepers, school ethos itself, and also just in life, do it the way that you want to. It is super Kundalini, very Kundalini coded. So let me begin here in the South. We call in the winds and the watchtowers of the South. We call to the great serpent. We ask you to wrap your coils of light around us and to teach us to shed the past the way that you shed your skin, to walk softly on the earth, on this earth, and teach us the beauty way.
The West. We call in the winds and the watchtowers of the West. Great Mother, Mother Jaguar, protect our medicine space. Teach us the way of peace and to live impeccably. Show us the way beyond death.
Hail to the winds and the watchtowers of the north, from Saffron, the place of concealment. Hummingbirds, grandmothers and grandfathers, ancient ones, come and warm your hands by our fires. Teach us the ways of stillness, even in flight. We honor you who have come before us and you who will come after us, our children's children.
Sabrina, you're east, babe.
Just pulling it up for everyone. Hail to the winds and the watchtowers of the east. Great eagle, Come to us from a place of the rising sun. Keep us under your wing. Show us the mountains we only dare to dream of. Teach us to fly wing to wing, Great Spirit.
Deb, you're muted.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mother Earth, we've gathered for the healing of all your children. The stone people, the plant people, the four-leggeds, the two-legged, the creepy crawlers, the finned, the furred, and the winged ones. All our relations.
Yeah, welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Father, Son, Grandmother Moon, to the star nations, Great Spirit, you are known by 1,000 names. And you who are unnameable, thank you for bringing us together and allowing us to sing the song of life. Hail and welcome.
Hail and
Hail
welcome.
and welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I also want to invite Kiki. I don't know if you want to join in on the panel discussion. Kiki's also joining the teaching team. I know, love, we just talked about this, so you don't have potentially the topic, so feel free to be like, I don't even know what we're talking about. But if you'd like to, just send Sabrina a message and she'll pin you or unpin you based on your preference here. So I'm just going to open the floor a little bit around some thoughts that I've been having around magical ethics and responsibility, specifically because I feel like sometimes people think this is like a god-awful boring topic. And going into rules, right? Like we have this connection or word association with ethical practice is like, oh, this is going to be really strict and specific. So I'm really just inviting everyone into understanding through my perspective, which is that the ethics around magic has to do with our individual principles. This is a principle-based contemplation. This is not necessarily a strong rule-based. It's definitely more emphasizing for me intentions, awareness, consent, accountability, and not rigid dogmatic rules. So at Yoga Farm in general, and then because Cauldron Keepers is a part of it, we're approaching ethics as ongoing reflective practice. It's not a static code. It's not something that is about, well, we decided this and now it's set in stone. This is really about consistently reflecting and evaluating. And I'm consistently reflecting and evaluating, like, what is my motivation around this spell work? What is my motivation around this ritual? So that we can have conscious awareness around the methods that we choose and what we choose to engage in. So I think it might be nice to just land in a place of like what responsibility looks like for all of us. And folks can just jump in. We can jump in.
Everyone should have the ability to unmute, so let me know. Or if you want to just stay unmuted, that's great too. We can just keep the conversation flowing.
I think about responsibility. I think about all the ways in which I have encountered teachers that have maybe taught me things in ways that I wouldn't choose to teach from myself personally.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that there have been a lot of teachings that I've received prior to coming to Yoga Farm where the ethics did not fully align for me. And so there were some challenging teachings for me in all of that. And it shaped a lot of how I've been able to hold space as an adult. I go as if I wasn't an adult before when I learned these things. An adultier adult. So I think about certain frameworks that I work with personally. They're the ones that resonate for me. So yamas and niyamas, 8 limbs of yoga, but specifically yamas and niyamas. Like I think about that as like a code of ethics almost as to how I want my practice to go. I also have studied Toltec shamanism, and so that lands me in the place of the 4 agreements and the 5th agreement, which is remaining skeptical and having some discernment around everything. And so I think there's a lot of responsibility when it comes to being a cauldron keeper, when it comes to being somebody who is a leader in this kind of a capacity, around being a space holder and being able to have some sort of framework so that when emotions happen, because they do, there is something for me to fall back on. There is something for me to look at, like, okay, I'm feeling something in my system here. Is it aligning with all these things that I know to be true for me personally? And so I think I'm a little all over the place in terms of ethics and responsibilities, but they go hand in hand for me personally. I cannot separate the two easily, because for me, I've found the foundations in, like I said, those 8 limbs, those 4 agreements, technically 5 agreements, and that has been something that has been so foundational for me. When I think about the teachings that I have received that didn't fully land for me, and the moment where I went, oh, I can continue down this very specific path right here, or I can break away from that and follow this one instead. There was a lot of power for me in choosing to unlearn things that I have learned and really decolonizing my practice. That's where it all lands for me. That was a very clear crossroads for me. And so it's very hard for me to not, or to be able to separate those ethical pieces when it comes to responsibility. When it comes to responsibility and caring for community, that's all up in there. Those are foundational to me personally. And so I always look at things through that lens. Am I being impeccable with my word? Am I making assumptions? Because I can, because I do, because I'm human, having a human experience, because judgment shows up for sure. And I try not to, and it still does anyway. And so then I'm like, oh, hello, visitor. Welcome. And so I think that, yeah, it boils down to being able to take a step back, to move a little slowly, being able to go to the frameworks that, like I said, I know those are true for me personally. They might not be for everybody, and that's okay as well. But they are for me, and that's how I've been able to access my path here. I'll leave it there for now. It feels a little bit like a soapbox. Thanks for listening.
It's hard for ethics to not sound a little bit like a soapbox sometimes when we dive into them. Sarah, will you, and it would be great if all of us, when you want to jump in and chat about something, also introduce yourself so that we get to do that part too. So if you could just tell people, and maybe like, what's your favorite part of your magical practice right now? Like, what is lighting you up right now?
Okay, what is lighting me up right now? I'm going to bookmark that and tell you who I am first.
There you go.
So my name is Sarah Brianna. If you see me online, sometimes Smith is woven in there. It's just because it's a really common last name, but I go by Sarah Brianna professionally. I identify as a soul coach. I am an Ashkenazi Jew witch, so I honor my ancestors a lot through my practice. It is woven in here. I am deeply committed to creating empowering spaces for individuals. I'm a shamanic energy healer, a trauma-informed yoga and meditation teacher, soul coach, as I mentioned. My mission is to guide people in becoming their own healers and tapping into untamed self-love. And the way that I access untamed self-love is through self-acceptance. All parts are welcome, every single piece of it. I focus on fostering open-hearted discovery. I partner with individuals who are ready to engage deeply with their personal journeys. It's a collaborative process, paves the way towards accessing full power. Power is a big thing for me. I'm an Enneagram 8. If anybody here is all up in spiritual warrior land, I am very Pitta dominant, although I am also Kapha dominant as well. Through the lens of astrology, I'm a Cancer stellium. So when we start talking about the cosmic witch and all the lunar things, I'm your girl. But also that Ashkenazi Jew witch piece is really important as well, because I'm really deeply all up in ancestral veneration. I honor my ancestors through a lot of rituals and practices that celebrate their wisdom and legacy. And I believe in that power of ancestral connection as a source of strength and guidance. And integrating all of these elements into everything that I offer just helps foster a deeper understanding of identity and healing for myself, but also for people that I get to work with. What is lighting me up about my practice currently? Well, happy first night of Hanukkah. We're not quite there yet. Can I shamelessly plug Neshama Roots tomorrow?
Shamelessly plug
Thank
it.
you. I'm like, since we're here, since I landed in that place, Neshama Roots is tomorrow. It's at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is here with Yoga Farm membership. It's an opportunity for you all to access some of what I offer in this realm before signing up for Cauldron Keepers. It's free for our members. And I take people on shamanic journeys where you get to access your ancestors. Tomorrow will be special because it is Hanukkah. And so we'll be working with the Festival of Light and light in general. That is what's lighting me up about my practice currently today is Hanukkah. It's really fun for me to think about how I do it. We've got my ancestors behind me. That's my ancestor altar. And so I usually will set up a little place for them and we'll put out a plate for them and invite them in. And so that's a little bit of what my practice looks like. And that's what's lighting me up today in this moment. In general, I'm a big fan of hexing the government. That's all. I'll leave it there. Mic drop.
What were we saying about, I was like, who's going to talk about hexing first on the ethics panel? My bet was it was somewhere between Sarah, Brianna, and Mom.
We should have done a bingo card.
I
We're doing a
know.
bingo card next time.
What's the over under on who brings up hexing first?
It's good
I
though,
think,
because you can talk to me about my ethics around it. I've got strong beliefs around what I do and how I do. It's aimed specifically mostly at systems and structures and not humans directly. That's how I roll with it personally. And so that is the other thing that lights me up because I usually don't. That's usually not a part of my practice. And currently it is. And I'm like, it's fun. Great. Chaos. Let's do it.
well, I think it can feel in a space, I'll just speak for myself, right? That can be kind of distant, can be kind of disconnected. We can have these moments of disempowerment and victimhood around what is happening to us, particularly, I'm speaking as a US citizen right now, although shit's happening all over the place. And this is a way to feel empowered. It feels very empowering. It feels like there is some sense of agency around what is going on, as opposed to, people in power are doing things to us, which can be very disempowering. So thanks, Sarah Brianna. Thank you, love.
I want to just say something really quickly after that, and then I'll go back to who I am, which I'm still trying to figure out. And that's any help is greatly appreciated, guys. But I would say that there's the very succinct way to do it, and there's so many little roots that come from this is harm none, but then going back to like hexing the systems and the structures is take no shit. So a witch's first responsibility is to regulate your own nervous system. Ariana and I and Kiki learned this in our herbal medicine course, but it is also the truth. And by doing that, you come to understand that part of regulating your own nervous system is setting boundaries and standing in your own power and sovereignty. That's really for me a big part of why I wanted to participate in this Cauldron Keeper School is I want, through whatever words or actions or just my own presence, to help support people as they come into their own power, their own knowing, their own magic. It's going to be a different flavor than mine. It's probably going to be spicier. I'm more like a comfort food witch, really. And so that everybody's got their flavor. That's probably mine. And if you don't know me, I'm Deborah DiLorenzo. I'm so fortunate to be a part of the Yoga Farm community, to be in this coven that we're creating right now. Simultaneously, as we speak, all the little tendrils of golden threads are weaving themselves together to support all of us as we move forward. What is lighting me up right now is that energy, the energetic thing. I mean, I did make a comment earlier about like the ancestors. Fuck yeah. Our wise and well ancestors, we have their gifts, not just their dysfunctions. And that's the thing I really want to, I'm not ignoring the way that I've experienced trauma and intergenerational trauma that everybody on this call has experienced on some level somehow. But, let's focus on the strengths and the gifts and the opportunities to share those and create a new structure, a new healthier structure. And I just see witchcraft, covens, all of this as being like a major part in the rise of that energy. The rise of the matriarchy is kind of my jam. So
I love this so much, Deb. I love that you just called yourself a comfort food witch because now my brain is like, well, what kind of food witch am I? Like, are you macaroni and cheese? And am I like, blueberries? What's going on? What kind of which food witches are we? Who's oat brand? That's what I want to know. Who's kale?
I don't know. Spinach definitely came to me, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm a spinach witch.
But I love this.
Laughing
I love
so
that we're
much.
going into this analogy because I do experience you as comfort. Lots of
And what is so amazing about that is like, I think that sometimes we all experience ourselves one way and then others experience ourselves another way.
oh, isn't that
So
always?
definitely, I was going to say thank you, Deb, because something about Deborah's voice immediately brings me into calm. It just brings me into a more parasympathetic state. And then there is also something about Deborah that brings me in and through the sacral and then up into all of the systems. So I definitely see that within our frontier too.
As students in our program, we will be encouraging consistently that each individual is articulating and refining their own ethical framework while understanding like a historical perspective, a cultural perspective, communal perspectives, the individual, I was just talking about this in our Q&A, like, we have our individual paths and our individual practices, and that's the inhale. But then we exhale, and that exhale impacts the environment that we are in, the systems that we belong to. So being able to consistently, as leaders in this space, redirect maybe if there's a question like, what should I do about this? We can't know what anyone should do. I'm never going to say to anyone that my personal ethos and that they should follow that. So I'm not going to say things like harm none. If I was going to be really clear about my perspective, times and places. There's times and places for everything. I'm not the macaroni and cheese comfort food. I don't know what I am yet, but I'm not that. So times and places for things. I don't think I could say with integrity if someone harmed my granddaughter that I would be able to be anchored in a harm none philosophy. There's no freaking way I could say that. There's just not.
yeah, this is where you need a sword. Like I do not want to ever indicate that you would not be using a sword on a regular basis as an empowered sovereign witch. Let's just be clear about that.
How do I not have a sword? It's just wild. I got
Why
I
not
mean,
have a
we're
sword?
gonna have a sword, but it's gonna have like some light beam. Like it's gonna be like not just a normal sword.
A
It's gonna
lightsaber.
be it's
I
I mean,
think
that
it's
might be what I'm
called a
talking about. No,
lightsaber,
no, I have
but
a
we
A
different
dark
I have a
saber.
different image coming out from this sword.
We need a sword
It's
designing
it's
workshop.
with angelic energy and pure energy, pure intention. That's
see
me anyway.
different flavors of
See?
witches doing different
I mean,
flavors.
some might put like ginger and turmeric on it, and some might put,
Someone is going to call in and be like, what do you think about this? And it's going to have to go to a collective discussion because
Mhm.
it's not going to be prescriptive. And that's something that's really important to know.
Mhm.
I would assert this around any spiritual practice, and I know that I've gotten into a lot of debates around this in my lifetime, but you have to walk the path that feels in integrity for you. And as far as ethics responsibility in the role of cauldron keepers, this is about giving you an opportunity to connect to your individual autonomy and then apply it to communal value.
Mhm.
Both and recognizing that. And the other thing that I want to circle back on what Deb had said is not, I mean, that scenario sounds incredibly abusive and hierarchical and toxic. There could be conflict within this program. There could be, I'm gonna keep picking on Ariana. Ariana and I could go rounds. We could be like, you're wrong, So this is not about an avoidance of um of coming up against a challenge or a particular um rub in the space. And so we want to reframe conflict as a learning opportunity and not ever a failure of anyone or a failure of the space. I really think we shy away from any kind of disagreement. And in spaces where there's spiritual practice, a default mechanism can often be a sense of spiritual superiority. Like, well, I know better about this, and we're not going to do that here. We're going to reframe a lot of these cultural norms and communal space norms, because if we don't start doing things differently at the microcosm level, how are we ever going to think that we're going to be doing this differently at a global level?
The thing about it too is if we are moving through something, let's go back like to that global level of what was it that you said, Sarah? Do you remember, love? Just any of that, like just at a global level, like what Sarah's gonna move into in her witchcraft practice, in her magic practice. Like, girl, I don't know what you're gonna do. She might be over there, like, be doing Fist of Fury, light candles. She might burn some sage. For
Oh,
me,
when you were talking
this
about hexing the patriot,
yeah,
hexing.
I'm like, this is like
Got it,
me
got it,
over
got it.
here. I'm like, I'm gonna bring out these crystals today. This is my witch magic. I'm gonna move into it like this. And, Deborah might be going outside and like doing some kind of thing. The point that I'm making is that we are all magical beings. And to allow ourselves that opportunity and that permission to move into that magic that is already within us, and to learn like what are our boundaries, or perhaps we meet ourselves at a boundary and there is that overlap of, well, I don't know, I don't agree with that, I don't know if I would do this, but that's okay because we're all different witches. And so, I might put out crystals, Valerie might be pulling cards. And I don't know, Valerie, tell us a little bit about your magic. But the point is we might all be doing different things, and all of those things are okay. Yeah. As long as we're not causing literal, harm in the sense. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Valerie Friend, since I've been tagged here by Sabrina. um, I've been practicing witchcraft in various forms for I don't know how long. Jeannie, what do you think? Like,
Well, I was talking about this in the Q&A because I was like, I don't know if this is true, but because I was 8 or 9, but I feel like this was Nancy. Like, I feel like
yes,
your friendship with Nancy became the like witchcraft catalyst for sure.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. My friend Nancy. Absolutely. So anyhow, just to let you know about me, I've been practicing in various forms for a very long time, 30 years at least, if not more, because you were younger than 15. Oh my God, I'm old. Okay, so
Talking about age right now. I don't know.
so my
I was
lineage,
8, so yeah, that was a
yeah,
long ass time ago.
okay, a long time ago, I started my journey. My lineage is Celtic, and I practice a lot of Celtic spirituality. I consider I was part of a Wiccan coven for probably a decade, and I could go into ethics around that, but I won't. Maybe in the classes, but. Now I consider myself to be a pagan and a practitioner of earth-based spirituality. I honor the seasons, the wheel of the year. I really like pagan parenting stuff. I love working with little people. Um, my Luna told me yesterday that she's the littlest witch in the family, and that was adorable. Um, so, and as far as what's lighting me up right
Yeah.
now, I am super into righteous spiritual rage and how women have been told to quiet down and be small and to not make a fuss about things. And right now, I feel like we're all in an abusive relationship with our ex, as far as like the grand scheme of things. So I've been doing a lot of work on righteous rage. And what's righteous for me might not be righteous for you. You know, it's just a judgment call. Um, I'm not a love and light witch. And I do believe that there are times when harm will occur based on people's lived reality. And sometimes I want to help that along. I want to help karma along a little bit. And I'm not afraid to do that. I am very discerning. I take it seriously. You know, I'm not on TikTok like showing everybody how to hex the patriarchy. Um,
Okay, if you are though.
it's okay if you are. I'm not. I like to keep some of my workings to myself, and I like sharing other stuff. So I'm excited to be here. To me, responsibility, like if you've taken my tarot class, I have a whole 8-point ethics sheet because I'm a Virgo sun. But yeah, responsibility, I feel like is something that culturally we have pushed away for a long time. And being responsible to one another, in fellowship with one another, respecting the beliefs and traditions of one another so that we can learn and grow and flourish in our lived remembering.
I'm going to do my best throughout the program to refer to her as Valerie and not mom, but
That's
um,
funny because I
okay.
texted you earlier. I said, Mom said, talking about Valerie. I said, now I'm calling Valerie Mom. So
Yep.
which
Yeah.
is it going to be?
Yep.
When I did the ritual for the UU youth group last weekend, everybody was calling me Nina, which
Oh.
which
Yeah.
is my grandmother name.
Yeah. All the kids call Valerie Nina. And Madeline, my middle daughter, is in charge of that youth group. And so she was like, Nina, Nina, Nina. And then, oh, well, Luna wasn't there though. But the Luna that I was talking about in Q&A also, um, so she is right now the babyest witch in the family, but there is one growing in an oven as we speak. So uh, we'll see what that one thinks about witchcraft when it arrives. I have not heard yet from Ariana. I have not heard from Kiki.
I'll go. Um, I'm Ariana, and gosh, there's so much. There's so much to bounce off of. There's so much to talk about. Um, I have been dabbling in witchcraft as long as I can remember. Um, my mother was very much into like new age spirituality, so this was just all like second nature growing up. Um, and you know, I was a product of the 90s, so I watched The Craft and was like, oh, this is not like, I get this. This is my speed. Um, and really was just a solo practitioner, you know, went to the local metaphysical store, bought all the books, got my green witchcraft book, which I still have. Bought the witches almanac every year just to like teach myself all the things. And then as, you know, my life progressed and had children and all of these things, um I really have just I call myself an energy worker. If you know me, you know I do a lot of things. You mostly will see me writing the monthly astrology newsletter for Yoga Farm. Um, and I base my practice around that. I guess if I have to put a label on what I do, I consider myself a gray wedge, because I really do acknowledge both the light and the dark. And ultimately, I teach from a space of finding your most authentic self and what works for you in that space. And it might be the light and it might be the dark, and all of those spaces that get to commingle in between. Um, I'm an Aquarius, so there's definitely I vibe with the marching to the beat of your own drummer. Whichever way is going to work for you is what's going to work best. And I piggybacking off of what Sarah said earlier, also that I do find an immense sense of responsibility when I'm teaching people, but I also acknowledge that everybody will have their own path in this. And I have learned from so many teachers that I disagree with vehemently. um, and I can still find value in the things that they've taught me. And I think that all of our lived experiences through our lives will dictate where your path on this journey goes. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Love, are there crows in the background there?
Oh yeah, I've got like there's a whole my neighbor across the street. It's like
Oh,
a daily battle between the squirrels and the crows.
I hear it. I'm like, as Ariana's talking, just casually the crows are arriving and crowing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's actually so I'm in LA. I'm probably the only person w's on the West Coast
Kiki's on the
from
West Coast.
Oh yeah, duh. Kiki lives like really close to me. But it's super foggy today, which is really weird for LA. Like it looks like it's light outside, but it's actually like pea soup. Like you can't
Mm.
see anything. So the crows are out there too. It's pretty fun.
Ariana, that,
Hooray.
that made me laugh a little bit in the sense of when you mentioned the craft. I just immediately thought I went to light as a feather, stiff as a board. And then And then I laugh because I had this realization, like these thoughts come in. Often these thoughts, I'll say my guides will drop in. They'll be like, they said this. They're like, you were the child that wanted to play light as a feather, stiff as a board when everyone else wanted to play shoots and ladders.
Yes,
So when you said that,
1000%.
Well, how
yeah.
I
many things did
I
we do at sleepovers that were witchcraft? Like,
Mhm.
yes.
Yes,
you like I'm sure.
can I just
And
say,
I was team instigator of all of those. Let me just tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
can I just say, Sabrina, that just reminded me when Jeannie was, I
Oh, here we go.
I think 10, she had a sleepover party, and I was in college at the time, and I was crazy. I'm sitting at the table like doing work and stuff, and all of a sudden I hear from the other room, don't fool around when somebody's in a trance. They could get stuck there for life. And I was like, oh my God.
Mom's trying to write her senior thesis, and I'm like, we're putting people in trances in my bedroom. It was chaos.
It
Chaos.
was lovely though. It was
Sure, we did a
fun.
great job. Everybody was safe and fine. Oh,
Shall, can you hear me?
yes, go ahead,
Okay.
Kiki.
Well, I'm so new and I'm so excited to be a part of this. Um, I was thinking maybe I'm a taco witch. Could I be a taco witch? Oh.
You can do whatever you want.
um, I feel like, well, first of all, in my childhood, I was obsessed with Bewitched. And I don't know that she's exactly the right role model, but like in my little world, someone who was a witch was interacting and, somewhat in secret, but using her magic to help her husband succeed at work. So, no, but um I think like since I was 5, I just remember making altars, going out into nature and gathering stuff and then putting it around a tree or bringing it home. And I didn't, really connect that, but I'm very earth-based spirituality, but also connected to the ancestors. So my education was in cultural anthropology, and some of you know this, but I did some research at Newgrange. And honestly, when I arrived, I didn't even know what it was. I just was like, I'll sign up for this, and I couldn't leave. Like the stones kept me there. And so over time, my anthropology and my spirituality have merged together. I've taught at university about ritual and how people make meaning out of signs and symbols. And just they used to live in two different buckets and they just keep coming together more and more and more. Currently, I'm very motivated by the Great Turning, by the work of Joanna Macy, and I'm kind of infusing that into my magic and how I'm living in the world. And if you're not familiar with that, it's basically somewhat rematriation and connecting to the fact that each of us is a sacred expression of the earth. And then the other thing, which is partly why I ended up here, is I got exposed to some calendar magic about a month ago. And I've been doing calendar magic, and it totally shifted things in my life. And I made a calendar of what I wanted to do in January or in 2026, manifest. And teaching at the university wasn't on it, and like my body wouldn't let me write that on the calendar. So I'm a new fan of calendar magic as a tool of manifesting.
Thank you, Kiki. I want to say though, who's the actress that was in Bewitched? Is her name Elizabeth Montgomery? Is that the right? Yeah, look at my brain right now. Elizabeth Montgomery fought like a badass for that role because the writers kept writing her very like submissive to her husband, and the plot lines were always like around being subservient to him, and she would straight up walk into rooms and be like, I am not playing this character. And you can see it if you go back and watch like the all the episodes of Bewitched. You can watch this character move into a much more autonomous, empowered being. And it really was because that actress was like, I'm not doing this. We are talking about witchcraft. We are talking about feminine empowerment. This doesn't make any sense. This is not how this character would exist in the world if she was actually a witch. So, Bewitched is a beautiful representation of, probably for a lot of us are part of our paths of earth-based spirituality and magic, that like external pressure of be this way, and then finally, the internal breaking out of the cocoon and just kind of blossoming into the fullness of who we actually are. It's some fucking alchemy right there. Rena, I haven't said the F word the whole time, so that's 50 minutes of me not dropping any F-bombs. I'd like the record to show.
I had a class.
Me neither.
The other day.
Me neither. I haven't done it
I had
yet.
a class full of them the other day. I was like,
You
I
did?
don't know. Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
You
what
were on your cycle.
I was. It was so
Guys, can
funny.
we just pause? Can we talk about pleasure for a minute?
Oh, let's talk about
Of
it.
course we can.
I just feel like one of the ways that's been really important for me, I don't even know how to frame this, and it's really hard to articulate, because I'm having a lot of like weird shame things going on right now. Like, stop it. Just stop talking about pleasure, Deborah. Jesus. But I think it is really important to address that one of the powerful things and there are male witches and there are, male identifying people. I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes when I say this, but I think that one of the powers of the divine feminine, however you express that, you have to embrace, or I feel like this is me putting that on.
Mhm.
Y'all should embrace pleasure because I think it's just a really important thing. However you approach pleasure, and so much of it has been shamed out of us through patriarchy, through religion, through I don't know what, Puritan bullshit, it's just really important. That is where so much of our power comes from, is that pleasure, that delight in things that are small and delightful, and just like the feel of the grass on your feet is pleasurable, but we
Well,
often just like skip over it. So I feel like that's important to mention, or at least it's definitely one of my main, that's a foundation of all of my practices.
I would
When I go
definitely
out,
agree with that, Deb.
I
Definitely.
do I do want to pipe in that not only do I think of Deb as a comfort witch, but I also think of her as the sexy witch.
Mhm.
And I would love for Deb to do some type of a thing about sex magic because
okay, definitely,
That was
let's
my
do
other
it.
over
Here
under.
we
Again,
go.
I was
I
like,
got my bingo card out.
magic first. Who's gonna say
I've,
sex magic first?
I've got my bingo card out. I mean, I do agree though, Deborah, because in so much of our life, we have been shut. We've been shut down. We've been moved down throughout not just our lifetime and what we have
Mm-mm.
experienced. Some of the work that I do is I move through past lives. I move through our lineage. And that so much that we feel in this time and the things that present for us from time to time arrive from our lineage. It arrives from our past lives coming back around this time here and
Mm-hmm.
now. And we need people like you even say the word pleasure and have someone like me be like, oh, I don't even know about that word. You know what I mean? But to be able to spin it around and to witness the times in our life when we were told that we were too much and we were too quiet and could you just not don't dance like that. You can't. I'm joyful dancing in church, and it wasn't a joyful dance church situation growing up.
Who on this
So,
call has been ever told? I can
mhm.
get some digital hands raised, some comments on the Facebook. Have you ever been told to not dance
Mm,
or move your body in a particular way?
mhm.
Right? Like that whole,
Well, this is powerful. Look at this here.
you
This here,
know,
like this.
It makes me want to
middle
cry. I feel
school
Yeah.
middle
crying.
school dances. Like Matt even
Yes.
sometimes talks about his Catholic school dances, where it was like you had to leave space for the Holy Ghost while you're dancing.
Mhm.
Right? Like
Right.
there's a whole damn movie called Footloose around how dangerous dancing.
Everything. I mean, these times in my life when, I moved through these experiences when I was young and where I would connect with spirits. And then we would be like, we're not going to talk about that though. Someone would be like, what's new with you? And I'd be like, well, today, we're not going to talk about that. So just another thing because of fear, right? The parental, like afraid that what are people going to think? What are people going to say? And here, this whole time, we are divinely connective beings that are very intuitive. And so, a lot of what I've moved through is like, how do we access that? How do we recognize that it's within us and our own uniqueness within it? And then love ourselves through it as we get to learn ourselves the way that we remember ourselves from all of time. So,
I
I,
feel like I want to bring up grief right now.
mm,
I feel like I want to bring up holding space for the grief that I immediately, my eyes are all pricked with tears right now. When I started seeing like people's hands go up, and I just feel like that is so soul crushing, and that has been done for generations.
mhm,
And it is part of the witch wound, in my opinion. And I just want to cry for us all. I just want you to know I love you all so much and so brave to think about people coming forward, even though there's a whole lot of shit all over TikTok and Instagram, whatever. This is brave. It is brave. Oh, I feel all cry, you guys. It's so brave to come forward with all of this stuff that has been pushing down on all of this for us for so long. And we're all brave. Brave
mhm.
for showing up on these calls, brave for signing up. I feel you have no idea, but Jeannie and Valerie know, and Ariana and Kiki and Sabrina. I'll just
Yeah,
name all the people I love.
well, no.
No, you know how brave I have to be to do this. It's really, I still have to push out of that. As free as I seem, I only get there. Sometimes I feel like I get there by like pointing in the other direction at all those voices and going, "Oh no, 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 she's over there doing something
And
bad. Go
also
pay
by
attention."
others witnessing the strength in each other. Like I taught
Yeah.
that in Sunday class this morning, like to witness each other in our strengths, and that seeing each other in our strengths in what might be perceived as weakness, we are in this unified field and creating an even stronger and brighter and more unified light. You
Mhm.
know, what you might see as a strength, like all of us are here and seeing how what you might feel as a weakness, all of us are here and seeing you in your strength. And so that's what I love, and I think that community is the most important part, because
Same. Yeah.
I can only heal so much on my own, and being
Hmm.
with other people definitely brings upon that. So, and it's about feeling safe. You know, you always feeling safe to be and to express and to be seen. And sometimes we don't always feel that and we move through the waves, but that's beautiful that we can be here and move through the waves.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Everybody say the F word today.
Hey,
Woo!
everyone.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's like
We're going to be taken off Facebook.
Ah,
um,
oh my
no,
God.
that's
Oh,
okay. Jeannie Love, if you want to move through, wrap it up. Do we have 1 o'clock class? Yeah.
Oh,
It's something else in this Zoom. Is that what you're saying?
No. Do we have something at 1? Anyway, keep you do your thing. Keep going. I thought we had.
Well, we do need to wrap it up
Okay.
here. And I'm just so grateful for everyone who showed up to do the panel, who showed up to listen in, to contribute, people on Facebook, all of those things. We're going to continue these conversations around topics that we will dive into in depth in
Mhm.
Cauldron Keeper School. But I also just want to end with this awareness that just like anything else in modern um, witchcraft, modern paganism, earth-based spirituality, non-hierarchical spiritual space, uh, ethics are dynamic, relational, and they require nuance and context. So as a school, as the Cauldron Keeper school, um, this is a core skill that gets developed over time, and we're all maturing alongside each other as our magical
Mhm.
abilities shift and change. So, and this isn't even something that necessarily has to stay anchored or siloed just in our magical practice. Like the question is like, am I acting with awareness, integrity, and responsibility toward myself and the greater community? Am I acting
Always.
with awareness, integrity, and responsibility toward myself and the greater community? And if we're consistently bringing ourselves back to that question, I think, we're doing the best that we can do with the information that we have at this moment
Mhm.
to operate within ethics and alignment and responsibility. And we witchcraft is powerful. This is a very powerful experience. And so power must be connected to taking responsibility for our actions and our inactions, right? Which is also an action. So I'm just so grateful for all of you. Thank you all for being here, and Sabrina for having this amazing brainstorm and idea of how we can get together once a month. And so check out the plan for January. I can't remember what the hell we're talking about then, but something.
We
Something.
are though. We'll be back. We obviously all have so much to share, and that also lights me up. That's lighting me up right now. So
theory into
thank you,
action.
everyone.
Foundations of magical practice.
Theory into
Thank-
action. Love it,
Go Deb. Thank
friends.
you.
We'll
Thank
see
you
you all
all so
soon.
much for joining. Bye bye.
Bye.